But I want to talk about something key because we have a politician in the House, and he's one of the persons who have always pushed for the youth to do it the proper way. He keeps saying it's not just about the protest. Well, we protest, but he says it's more than the protest. You have to have intelligent mind. You have to have another tactic to be able to, be upfront with the government if they have to listen to you or bend towards, what you're saying. So, well, one of the youth that we have in the area, I've been following him, and he has been doing amazingly well. He has been calling out a lot of our leaders, and somehow he's doing very well for himself right now. Well, he has given us an update on the electoral reform. Now, this time around, Femi Chacha, you always say it is not just about talking. It's not just about ranting, shouting, going for protest. You have to have an intelligent mind. You have to bring these policies to them. Well, we had Randy Peters, write out this some name as some youth gathered to write out the new electoral reform, what they want to be reformed or to be changed in the Electoral Act. And of course, he made mention when he made out a call to FCT Center, Mrs. Iriti, King Igbe, where she's asked to help for the petition also to submit. Iriti reached out to them immediately requesting for a meeting to hear from them, and of course has now received a copy of the petition, and they are waiting to hear the next response. Well, he has given updates as to what is in the electoral reform, which was handed over to Senator Iriti, but I'm not here to talk so much about it. We have Randy Peters, giving us update on that, where he made a video and circulating on social media. So let's watch the video about the electoral reform and the update about that. We're right back to the studio to continue with the program. Stay with us.
Okay, fellow Nigerians, just immediately we put out the message calling on the FCT King Igbe to assist Nigerians in the petition we have already submitted to the leadership of the assembly. The senator herself reached out and has called us to come and meet with her. What exactly are the concerns and what we want? And that is why we are standing Senator Ireti King Igbe, senator representing the FCT, much for this, for the opportunity to listen to us. Our requests are not many. Nigerians need an opportunity to be able to elect their leaders and be able to vote them out. We believe that the arrogance of politicians is in a criminal accord, and that is why this fight is what Nigerians want to take. And we know that with your help as the legislator and also in the Senate Committee on Electoral Reform, and just as you have done with every other assignment since you assumed office in your day, I followed them personally. We see what you are doing, and we believe that you will not die. Whatever you will do to advance this cause, both at the community level and at the House, at the Senate, to help us get this electoral reform, to reform INEC for Nigerian youth, we appeal to you. Help Nigerian youth. You are our mother. You are a mother. You are us, and we are calling upon you. Nigerian youth, you are like children who have been left as orphans or to pray on us. Whatever you can, man, do this as your gift to Nigerian youth. And we will never forget this, man.
Thank you. I try as much as possible to respond to my constituents when they call on me. That's why I reached out to say, what are you screaming my name for? Come and tell me what is bothering you.
Thank you.
And give me a copy of this petition. Let me follow it up with the leader.
All right, fellow Nigerians, I just say make I inform you now. We don't drop petition for electoral reform for office of Senate President and Honorable Speaker. And then we also call the attention of Senator Ireti King. Nothing they knew for that petition where Senate never hear before is to make transmission of result mandatory by INEC. Because if you read Electoral Act of 2022 and INEC guidelines, everything, the decision of INEC on how to conduct the election, it was basically election with option of electronic. Meanwhile, INEC deceived Nigerians, said they need not electronic. That is why Buhari give them 313 billion to conduct election. Yet INEC decides say server no work. So that server, it must be protected. Nigerian youth fit build server if there is no money for government to build them.
What really caught me is when he said INEC desired or decided that it was not going to work. But anyway, according to him, you've heard that he said most of what was there is the same thing, but this time around, expect the transparency and the transmission of results, which I think is most of what people have been saying, that if they could have a transparency and honest transparency result, basically, I think the right people, the right person, the people chose will come up. But behind the camera, you said something. You said he's getting it wrong. And of course, if you check the comment section under that video, we had a lot of people agreeing to this and saying if they can actually go for this and they can pass that into law, that they will come out too. Now, this is bringing out a lot of youth again to be interested in politics and voting for 2027. But I'm now wondering what could be wrong about this that you saw. So let us know.
You see, I like when I'm impressed. I need to give him a lot of applause.
Okay.
But you see, I was at that stage some years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I was at that stage some years ago. Nigerian election is very complex. I'll give you a good instance. When you talk about transmission, we know that there are places in this country that don't have network.
Okay.
There are places in this country that still use 2G. Yes. So they are looking at highbrow areas. They are looking at areas where educated people stay. Because I enjoy 5G in Lagos or you enjoy 5G in Abuja, does not mean somebody in one local place where politicians love to read will actually have
network. Okay.
That's the first problem.
Okay.
That's the first problem. Now, they are supposed to be addressing the mistakes they made in the last election. One, several of those political parties, only the APC had polling officers at all, as agents at all polling units. Labour Party didn't have close to like 45,000 or more. How did the Labour Party secretary say that? So, see, it is not about what it is what is written on the form A4 that must be transferred. But if you don't have an agent at the poll,
it could always
if they do rubbish in the form, you can't argue it. That was the mistake they made in the last election.
Okay.
So you didn't have an agent. They wrote rubbish. They just took time to transmit it. But you are now fighting that it was not transmitted on time. Whereas the issue is, do you have agents there? Did your polling aides protest? Did they refuse to sign? Because if all the polling agents from political parties refuse to sign, then it won't be transferred.
Okay, of course. In 2023 election, you and I saw where they were working out some polling agents in some of the units. You and I saw that.
I agree with you. And it happened across board.
Yes.
There are estates even in Lagos where they shut gates so that some top people that we even look up were thumbprinting themselves in mass, and then they look for to sign differently. Now the truth is, it's the reason why election in Nigeria and petitions is really very tricky is that you now have to take a percentage of fraction of where these things happen compared to the entire election. So when you now, maybe in Lagos, people are angry that it happened 15 places. I'm just using that as an instance. 15 places, and probably we have close to like maybe 700 polling units. Somebody that works in INEC or someone that does statistics or does mathematics will look at 15 out of 700 and and it will not stand a strong point in court because it is negligible. That's the right word. But you see, while I agree that some of these things will make youths come out, the point is politicians don't rig where there is 4G or 5G. That's my problem.
Why?
Because they need the rural areas to rig, and these rural areas don't have network.
Yes.
So if you ask me, I'm of the opinion that all of us should start going back to our villages to vote. So if I go back to my village in Oyo State,
you can always talk to them.
But if you didn't register in your village, can you?
I can transfer. I can transfer my voter's card. So if I'm in my village, for instance, that does not have 2G, instead of coming to shout an eyebrow area where politicians already they know they will maneuver. We are majoring on the minor instead of minoring on the major. That's the major fear now. Politicians will wait for places like Borno. there are places where back then in 2023, because of bandits, because of Boko Haram, those polling units, even though it existed on INEC platform, people were unable to vote. Now those places don't have network. That's where they reach. That's why they declare millions of votes.
And you know, most times in election, they tell if you know the grassroots.
That's why they call themselves grassroots politicians.
Yeah.
So that's the point. So if you ask me, there are 3 ways to make sure 2027 election is credible. Number one, don't wait till political parties give you candidates. Join political parties and participate in their primaries so that you determine who you match. Most times we're looking for the lesser evil because political parties have given us candidates. So we have to participating in their own primaries to decide our own candidates. So when you join a political party right now, I love that they are joining Labour Party, even though I am not sure. That's why I'm scared right now. With the look of things, with the politicking in the Labour Party, Peter Obi may not be able to get the ticket of the Labour Party. So I'm scared that many of them that would have want to join the Labour Party en masse right now may have to move again. Probably when that was how Peter Obi was frustrated out of PDP. He didn't even participate in the primaries, if you remember very well. So, see, the first thing is join the political party and make sure that it is your candidate that enters. That's when you now start mobilizing for that your candidate. Go back to the grassroots. These people are claiming to be grassroots politicians. And it is time I'm also a grassroots. I don't want to be a Lagos politician. I want to be a grassroots. Go back to your grassroots. Talk to them. Speak the same language. Then let somebody now, because there's no 5G network in your local government, in your LCDA, now want to reach. That's where you should be speaking grammar. That's where you should be volunteering for your political party to be a polling agent. That is how to curb. You don't see all these other eyebrow areas. Leave drones. Leave certain things. People, most of on the island, how many people will come out to want to vote? Because they think that's the time to watch TV and see what's happening.
Yeah, to know what's going on.
Rest.
Yes, and those areas have 5G net. So if you're saying those ones must upload, how much have you been able to curb the malpractice?
Okay. I want to hear from Comrade also. Comrade, can we have Comrade on the screen, please? All right, Comrade, we'd like to hear from you too. What do you think about all of this, especially what Femi Chacha said also?
Yeah, thank you. Femi Chacha is in line, but my own is that I am not an advocate of electoral reform when it comes to the election season. Why must we be having reforms every 4 years when an election is drawing near? And it is not ideal because ordinarily there are so many reforms that have been done in the past, and every successive governments will want to bring about certain reforms that will suit him, that will be very, very good for him to have a headway, for him to win in the general election. Because when we talk about reforms, when the president and the president is still the number one man that shows it or that it appoints the independent electoral commission's chairman, we are not going to have a good election. And we have been agitating that the chairman of the electoral commission should not be, a stooge or an appointee of any sitting president. It will be an independent body. So that is where we have to start from. So if you are talking of electoral reform, we start first and foremost making the INEC, the electoral body, independent. We can never achieve any reforms in this country. Be that as it we are. The judiciary, which we believe is the last hope of the common man. What is the position? What is the state of our judiciary when it comes to elect matters? The judiciary are also complicit, when it comes to election issues, when it comes to adjudicating on election matters. They have robbed Peter in the past. and they are not doing, they are always doing, they are doing the bidding of their proposals. Because it's all about the highest bidder. Look at it from this angle. Electoral petition tribunals, the judges that have been appointed into the electoral petition tribunals, do you know they lobby to be appointed by the Chief Justice of Nigeria to be part of an electoral matter or electoral tribunal in certain states? They lobby. And ordinarily, people should have been choosing, judges should have been choosing on merit. They should have been choosing on merit. Ditto, returning officers, INEC returning officers, vice chancellors, deputy chancellors that are saddled with the responsibilities, of announcing election results in a given state or a local government. They lobby their way, to be part of this ad hoc staff. So there's no good reform that will come without first and foremost reforming the electoral institution in our country. So whether we want to get it right or not, no reforms can be really made, without first of all look to all these areas that I have highlighted. Fine, Tarandi have said this, and it is left for Senator King to be in front of the House and for them to debate over it. But take it, any reform that will not be in tandem with the national interest of the ruling party, I'm telling you, will not work. Because they will always do everything to suit their own purpose, to suit their own bidding, to suit political, expedition. So in order to team out all other, parties or other political aspirants or candidates that will be contesting in a given election. So let us just quickly go to the second thing, so that because of our time, because we don't have the luxury of time, we started the program late. So please, no reform will work, as I've said, without first of all making the institution independent of itself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I want to disagree with that.
So you don't be which part? The independency?
The judiciary part.
Oh, okay.
I agree with him. The choice of INEC, the choice of the INEC chair should be independent. But no matter what our constitution says, we have to do a constitution review, and the houses of assembly of all the states have to agree with some major things before there can be a change. Okay. It's not as easy as people think. Some of these things are possible. That's number one. Number two, the judiciary part. I agree with that school of thought that our judiciary is highly compromised. I really view that evil people do so much to brainstorm and work hard to achieve their goal, but righteous people fold their hands, pray to God, and with wishful thinking expect that good will happen to them. I'll give a good instance. I've learned so much within limited time, at least maybe 10 or 12 years in politics. Those that want to win election get their lawyers as soon as they pick form. But you see, those that want to challenge them, we get their own lawyers after they won or lost election. Now there's something we call strategic meeting. You now go to strategic meeting with your lawyer and you study the past voting pattern and say, okay, this person is from so area and is likely to have majority votes from so area. Okay, if we get people to disrupt voting pattern in so area and it affects his vote, how do we get people to disrupt in our own area of strength so that we can claim that our own vote is also affected, even though it will only be affected minimally, so that when they subtract, they will subtract from us, they subtract from theirs, and then our own calculation will still work, and we are going to emerge winner. But the other person that lost, that is going to court, is only coming to come and do forensic audit of printed ballots. When some other people actually started planning what will happen at the ballots. I'll give you another instance. I'm speaking from what I've seen people brainstorm. The last election, it's obvious that people will think because APC is the government in power, and then there's every likelihood that they should rig. Because it is obvious that Peter Obi's team may likely claim in court that they were rigging in certain states. Lagos on the planning platform ensured that they lost Lagos. So that how will you prove that I rigged in someone else's state when I couldn't even rig in my own state? win.
Wow.
So they went to court with the aim of proving that election was rigged. And the Chief Justice, the judges asked this same thing. But this was premeditated. It was premeditated by politicians, but you just stand up one day when and you want to start counting people that actually followed
from the very beginning,
stage by stage. See, election is expensive, and you need the best brain. You don't only believe people will vote for you because you have the right words. You have to have the best brain on your team that can block loopholes for you legally on all ramifications, so that when things are cast, they will tell you, see, we found solution to this, we found solution to this, sit back, we will solve this. And that's why it looks as if they went to the judiciary, they even went to the Supreme Court, and they lost. But people have, I wish I can do analysis on 9 reasons why the Labour Party lost. But they have still not found those things. And yet, the political party that out-twist them are already planning and strategizing
against for the next
for
election.
loopholes.
Okay. All right, let me read one of our viewers' message, and here's the question there actually. This one, good afternoon, crew. Please, can we request for policies that enables everybody to vote from anywhere we are, and it is immediately counted electronically, and ensure that we work on how to ensure that there is network in all of these rural areas. This is Olajumoke from Dokwemu. Is it possible to actually have that? Because we know outside the states, outside the country, basically, that's how they run their elections.
That was going to bring me to allowing those abroad to vote. I think INEC had said
they will look in
diaspora.
Yeah, the challenge I have now is that people don't know it's only UK and US. We have to also understand that Chad, Niger Republic, when it comes to voting, yes. And some of these people that can enter Nigeria anyhow, we claim Nigerians, and they will still be. So, see, government does not have business in business. If telecommunications, they didn't pay for adverts, so we can't mention their names. If telecommunications do not see putting their masts in certain areas with their own credit financially, they won't put it there. And you know, because of that, now criticize government, because that's not government's job. These are private companies. I don't know, maybe you understand. A lot of them. So if rural dwellers are not great users of phone devices, they don't subscribe, they don't do it because they probably don't need it, then why do you expect telecommunication because you want to vote to now go and put their mast in your locality? So some of these things, we have to find a balance, and until we are completely civilized, that certain things that we yearn for, that we can't compare ourselves with the UK. We can't compare ourselves. They have data. Once you enter into those countries, they can track you. But how many people can enter? Nigeria is so porous. Our borders are porous that you can't even track your own citizens. How much more you are talking about people that can claim? Yes, people that can claim anything anywhere. So it's a gradual process.
Are you saying that what Olajumoke said is impossible?
It's a forward. But you see, we can't achieve that in 2027. Is it possible after? Yes. Okay. But you know, telecommunications must first begin to agree that those of us that live in the cities, they will charge us more than those that live in something like band A, band B for electricity. If they propose that and we agree, then they will do something like that. Because if they charge them 10 naira for call in the rural area, and we agree that we will pay 100 naira, then they will be willing
to do that.
Because business-wise, they already found a way around it. But how many of us want to? I see in our community, we don't even want band A. Yes, even though it's constituent, we don't want it because we can't afford it. We can't. So how will they do that band C kind of thing in telecommunications because we want to vote?
Okay, all right. Another one says, how long are we going to continue in gambling politics? Anyways, as long as politics exist.
Politics everywhere is gambling.
Yes, that's what I want to
say.
say.
You saw what Elon Musk did to ensure that Donald Trump. So it is everywhere. You see the way he was raising cash, he was dropping money, millions of dollars to say, oh, get around in so I'll be in so town hall meeting. If you know you're going to vote, sign this petition, and you get so amount for signing petition.
Yeah,
that's vote
buying.
It's all
gambling. Yes, it's vote buying
in Nigerian context.